first. Okay, good, good.
Hello.
Howdy, welcome back.
Thanks.
Yep, you can hear me well. Everything's
I
good to
can
go
hear,
now.
I can hear you fine.
Well, that's good. I upgraded. I got a little webcam. Paid about $20 for it, so it's a lot
Oh,
better than what
beautiful.
yeah, it was too confusing with the two cameras going. I'm sorry, two cameras going and stuff. So, was it easy for you to get in? I don't know why I'm at an angle. That's weird. It must be
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah, I mean, just now when you shared the link, I got in. I couldn't get in until you just did that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because hello Matt Akers. I'm glad you're back. Today we're definitely gonna talk about gardening. You know, right now I cannot plant anything. I'm thinking about getting something started in the basement, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Hello, Just Jamie. Good to have you. Heather, your phone's over here. So how you been doing?
Okay, what's going on here?
That's my wife's phone. It's over here.
No,
Jamie,
I can't see anybody that's in here. I don't know how.
um,
Like, I don't have I either have the screen with you and I, or I can go to chat, but I can't see both.
okay. Are you on your phone or your computer?
No, I'm on the phone. Let me see.
Yeah, it's confusing. Like I says, I'm just getting this figured out too. So Matt Akers and Jamie, glad you're both here. Thanks for coming. I gotta apologize for last week. It was kind of hectic because I had two cameras going, and it was hard to get things going. But now I got more of a focus point on just the webcam. Hi, Ann. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me, Ann?
Yep.
That's good. I'm glad you're here.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. I just got this
Okay.
webcam. I was kind of 2 weeks of not really knowing what to do. It was kind of goofy, but now I'm good to go. Um,
I got back.
yep. And what I have to do too is I got to pay attention to you two or whoever comes in and the chat, so I don't have a mod. So it's kind of like, so I'm multitasking. So forgive me if I don't give you eye contact all the time, but I'm there for you. So
Oh, you're young and robust. You can multitask.
yeah, you got that right. We'll see. Yeah. So we're definitely, we're going to talk about gardening today. I definitely need some tips on what to do and what not to do. And my biggest question for anyone, especially you two, is how do people grow their crops all year round? You know what I mean? Like, some people still have potatoes and stuff in the ground and stuff like that. So I need help on how to prepare my garden. I use grow bags and I have a raised garden bed. But after the season's done, I don't harvest any more crops. So how do you prepare them throughout the winter? Any tips?
Well, it really, where you live or where I live, it depends on the weather. Like here where I live, it's too cold to overwinter. Like I can't leave my potatoes in the ground or I'm going to have mush come spring. If it's warmer there, you can do it, but I don't live in a zone where I can do that, so I don't have experience with that.
What about you, and you're the worm guru up there. What are your thoughts?
There seems to be a bit of a delay.
Okay.
So just a second ago, everybody's voices were kind of overlapping for me. Yeah.
I don't have a delay. I'm not sure.
That's
So,
weird.
yeah, no,
So
it is.
I'm just still buying a bunch of seeds. I'm waiting for Bar Chuckin
Mm-hmm.
to do his seed videos.
So what are your
Yeah.
main? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, there's things like beets and potatoes, sweet potatoes. If you're in like zone 7 and above, you can leave them in the ground all winter. But if you're colder than that, they're going to freeze. And then when they thaw, it's like putting worm food in the freezer. It just breaks down the cell walls and then it turns to mush. So it really, or you can do something like a cold frame, you know, or a hoop house or a greenhouse and go that route.
So greenhouse, what's the best way to do it? Like I see a lot of people use like plastic tarps or they Matt Akers said cold frame, garden worms. So how exactly do you do a greenhouse for a newbie? You know, I need tips on that.
Talking about a greenhouse or like a grow tunnel or a cold frame. They're all different things.
Yeah, explain to me like a mini greenhouse. How does that work, or a greenhouse in general? How would you do that? Like if I was just starting out from scratch, what do you do?
Honestly, I bought mine and it was $20 and it came with it's a frame with a plastic cover that slips over it. And I have never built one like with glass and all. I bought mine and it literally was $20 and they still sell them for $20. So, you know, and it basically what it does is it traps in heat. You know, you have the heat or the sun hitting directly on it, but you don't have, you know, the cold wind or the air blowing. So it just holds in the heat and it, you know, it gives you 20 to 30 degrees warmer than whatever the temperature is outside.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you have to be careful. You know, the sophisticated greenhouses like the big farmers have, they have fans in there and they have windows and vents that at a certain temperature they will automatically trigger a window to open and a fan to come on to suck off excess heat. But the kind I'm talking about where it's just a plastic that zips down, it'll be perfect early in the day, but then mid-afternoon it'll get 130 and scald up the plant. So you kind of have to be, you know, you kind of have to babysit those a bit. You can get really simple or you can get really sophisticated. It depends how much time you want to spend with it or how much time you have to spend with it.
So I see the garden lady got hers at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, that's actually where I got mine too. It looks like the one that in back of Ann. I think that's a greenhouse. It looks. Is that a floor shelf greenhouse, Ann?
No. What you're seeing is, let's see, this side.
I can't. Yeah, I can't see it really good because I'm on a phone.
There's
and it's
just a shelf with a bunch of plants, and then let's see if I can move the camera. So that's my orchids. And then I suck at doing things backwards. So then right there is a bunch of shelves with my bonsai. And then, yeah, I've earned my moniker as being obsessed. Then the china cabinet, where did I go? Behind me with the lights that's all my succulents.
Yeah, Harbor Freight and Amazon are now the same price on those. And actually, my local grocery store is selling them too.
You mean the green plastic ones or the clear ones?
The green Echo. Cancel. So my Echo Dot went crazy. Yeah, you know the ones that are like the green tubular frame and it just has the clear polyurethane cover that zips on the front. They're like $22. I just have a couple of those, and they really make a big difference.
I bought about $100 one from Amazon last fall. Not this fall, but the one before.
Well, it's either bigger or it's better.
Well, I'm not sure. Basically, it got taken out by a windstorm, even though I had some concrete blocks on it. We have kind of a lot of windstorms here. And so I just had to, you know, fold it up and maybe I can build a better frame for it this year. Because that's where I did my seeds last year. This year, I'm stuck with doing it in the basement with, you know, a heat mat and just the grow lights.
So, outside, I noticed that like Matt Akers Farms, they did a soil test. Did you gals do any soil testing or anything, or you just planted your seeds in the ground? Once they germinated from inside, you just put them in the ground outside? Because, Ann, are you and Where do you live again? Is it Indiana? You're not Indiana. You're
I'm about 2 hours south of you in Illinois.
Oh, that's right, Illinois. Okay, all right. And I guess your soil is a little bit. I don't know if you have clay as well. I don't know.
Normally, yeah, but where I put most of my vegetables is a raised bed where it's all the compost that I've made, soil and compost that I either purchased or amended to. But yeah, the soil around where I am is seriously hard clay. The grapes like it, but other than that, nothing else really likes it.
And speaking about soil, I mean, when you harvest your castings for fertilizer, or whatever, how many pounds do you usually harvest? Within a year. What do you think?
Are you talking to Ann still?
Yeah, Ann. Yeah.
I probably get right at a ton per year, a couple thousand pounds. The big 55-gallon bin cycles a couple times a year, and that weighs almost 500 pounds full.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then, of course, I've got all the other bins as well, and the Vermibag Little Mammoth. That's probably a couple 100 pounds full as well, and that cycles twice a year. So luckily I have quite a few fruit trees and quite a few plants and gardens and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I use all of mine. A lot of people are like, hey, do you sell them? And I'm like, no. I mean, I got into it for the bonsai soil. All the super cool people in bonsai, they always use worm castings in like a little tea bag. And then they stake the tea bag inside the pot. And that way it just kind of gets the good stuff out like tea.
Okay.
Instead of making actual worm tea, they just put a tea bag of worm castings in their bonsai pots. That's how the whole thing got started.
So speaking about bonsais, what is the purpose of a bonsai? Is it more just like a decorative? Something fell down. A decorative plant, or?
Yeah, it's a little miniature tree. Yeah, it's hard to explain what good bonsais are.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just decorative, little miniature trees that you can kind of make little landscapes with and stuff, to where you kind of get to have big, huge trees, but they're only, a foot tall now.
So what are your thoughts?
It came from a Japanese. They originated in Japan, and you can get very intricate, and some of them are like thousands of dollars. You can get crazy, right, Ann?
Oh wow!
I mean, some of those are.
Yeah,
really
if
crazy.
you ever are in the Memphis area, my dad used to live down there, and what was it called? There's a bonsai nursery there where they have all the ones that are like $20,000 and stuff like that. Some of them get to be like $500,000.
Yeah.
None of mine are even
10 inches tall.
cool. Right. And if you kill them, then some of these things, I mean, there's one that actually lived through Hiroshima. I got to see that one time. It actually lived through a nuclear bomb. But yeah, mostly right now, orchids, bonsais during the winter, and then in the summertime, I've recently got into like currants and gooseberries. They do really well up here in this zone. I don't get a lot of grapes. The grapes just are not happy here. So I've kind of changed. I still let them grow, but the currants and stuff seem to be doing a lot better up here.
And I took a video. I was going to put it on YouTube and said, video for Ann, please help. I haven't put it up yet. So I was digging the other day through my urban worm bag, and lo and behold, there's 2 huge mango seeds that have grown about a foot. They sent out their little, whatever you call it, and they're about a foot length of roots. And I'm like, how the heck do I grow a mango? I've had avocado pits sprout. But I'm like, Ann will know what to do with these mangoes. Uh-oh, where'd she go?
They said they hear echo, Lisa.
I don't have any echo on my end.
Yeah.
That's mango?
That's a mango?
Looks like avocado. That's mango.
Oh, she's muted. Hold on. Your mic's muted, Ann.
can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Yeah, high technology.
No sound.
Yeah, it says it's muted on this. I don't know.
Good Lord.
There you
It's
go.
not like I don't do this
Now
10
you did it.
times a
Now
day
it's
at
We're
work.
okay.
good, Ann.
There we go. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
That's a mango or an avocado?
these are mangoes.
Okay, so I just put it in a pot. I mean,
Yep.
I got 2 of them. I wasn't sure, like, obviously I don't live in a tropical area, so it's not going to be able to go outside.
No.
You know, I have so many avocados. I'm like, what am I doing with all these?
So
Yeah.
how long does it take a mango tree to get big and you can eat the fruit?
Probably 100 years.
Or even in Illinois, is the conditions right to grow it outside? I was about to say it's a tropical, it's like a Floridian kind of plant, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, people in Florida and California can probably do it, but I'm pretty sure that we can't do that in Illinois. You're still in
Yeah.
Illinois, right?
So you're just gonna grow it inside? Just let it.
It's just fun, right? It's something to do.
Yeah, I have also have figs.
What is that? I don't know what it is. I'm kind of a.
That's a fig, right?
These are supposed to be Chicago figs,
Okay.
and they're supposed to be hardy in this zone, but mine didn't live outside. They died. We get, it like wind chill of 60 below here sometimes. So I just started bringing my figs inside so I can actually get a crop. I don't
There's
expect to
one
get a
kind
crop.
of fig. I don't know what it is. There's someone not too far from me that grows them that will overwinter here in Connecticut if you leave them out, but not in the ground, but in pots apparently. But I don't know what kind they are. It's one kind of fig, and I'm trying to get my hands on one.
Yeah, there's a turkey fig and the Chicago fig are supposed to be good to below freezing.
Okay. Yeah,
So
there's a
you're
guy
the-
that has a little dairy pasture, and he has
AJ.
about 100 of them in
Yeah.
pots.
Look over your shoulder. I think there's somebody playing puppets behind you.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. You can see something better than I can.
Yeah, I thought I saw like a
yeah,
dinosaur or
there's
something
something.
over your shoulder.
You got
Yeah,
something going on back there, AJ.
Yeah, we're in the basement. My family's down here too. This is my little office studio area.
That's funny.
So she has 3 fig trees but no fruit. I like fig Newtons, but I don't like figs. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Am I
No,
weird like that?
Fig Newtons is all sugar. It's not like figs at all. I love figs and dates. I love them. But I think the figs that grow, that can live year round here are pretty small and not very productive. I don't think you get very many off a plant. It'd be fun to do.
The thing that I don't like about living in the Midwest is just like we can't really plant until like, for me, it's like the week after Mother's Day because we always get a frost. What are your thoughts?
Here we get basically, I used to be able to plant the 3rd week of May. Now I've learned the last 5-6 years, it's usually like June 10th. Last year we got frost on June 7th. It killed everything I put out. So now it's like,
Wow.
The first weekend in June through the first weekend in October is the safe zone. So June, July, August, and September.
Oh, wow.
But even June can get some, my son's birthday is June 13th. And I have pictures of last year. We all had winter hats on. It was, 40 degrees. So
That's crazy, seriously.
yeah. And then the next day it can be 80.
So do you live out, what does Connecticut look like? Is it like just all city stuff? How does it look? What is it? Country and stuff too?
It's not city at all. It's very urban. It's very, no, not urban. Urban, yeah. There's a lot of farms. There's a lot of very small, quaint picturesque towns. You know, you can look online at the Cornwall Covered Bridge. There's a lot of small dairy farms, a lot of antique stores, a lot of it's very small, old fashioned. It's kind of like Maine or Cape
Okay.
Cod. You know, it's just, you know, I'm 40 minutes from the shoreline,
Hmm.
you know, from the sound. And so there's a lot of shellfish and, you know, marine sort of vibe. But it's a really nice place to live. You just can't afford to live here.
So you guys get the fresh fish and all that up there then?
Yeah, we can absolutely. And I love fishing, so.
So is it? I mean, it's saltwater. I'm guessing, right? The main thing up there is saltwater fish, or
Well, yeah, I mean, but we have a couple of very, very major rivers also that we can fish for freshwater fish, but you know, saltwater fishing is a big thing, you know, right down the sound, and it's excellent fishing. You can go out, you know, if you have a permit, you can go out and catch lobsters or blue crab.
oh wow.
I love the blue crab when they're running.
When I lived, we lived in Virginia for about 3 years, and we'd get like a crab buckets, put a little raw chicken or something on it, and catch crabs all the time, and boil them and eat them up.
They're good, aren't they? Were those the green crabs or the blue crabs?
They're blue. They're blue. Yep.
They're good.
Clive, do you know who Clive is? You ladies? He does gardening and he has worms. He's a new guy that we connected with, a YouTuber. So hopefully he can join the stream. I think he's in Canada. So
I think I recognize the name, but it's not like coming in my head.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah, Clive, join the stream if you're interested.
I've talked to Glennie a couple more times. Remember Glennie from Australia?
Yep.
Yeah. He's a funny man.
He had something that he didn't know on his short, and it was like a maggot looking like thing with a tail, and I thought it was a soldier fly, but I think it was another guy. Have you ever heard of London's Worms and Garden?
Yes.
He had a video, and it was like a long-tailed rat maggot or something. Long-tailed, something like that. You ever heard of it?
Are you talking about the hammerhead worms?
No, this was it looked like a black soldier fly, but it was something with a long tail. But if you go back to Glennie's video on his short.
Is it on his YouTube page?
Yep, and I put a link. I clicked the link to what it was. Yeah, London's Worm and Garden. He knew exactly what it was because I have never seen a something like that. I thought it was a soldier fly, but it was a long maggot or something.
I thought maybe it was like I hadn't seen it, but from what you're describing, I thought maybe like a mealworm that turned into a darling beetle, but you know, because they turn black, but not if it looked like a maggot. No.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna change the settings, so hopefully I can have it open so they can just click on it. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay. So I'm gonna stop my camera for a second. But you can chit chat. I'll still be here.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be talking about you. So, Ann, how old are those mango plants you have?
They're like 2 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's what I have to look forward to. I have in my kitchen years ago, like 10 years ago on eBay, I saw a listing for, I think it's called Plua. It's a Japanese plum tree. And it was like this big. I ordered it. It was like $2, and I ordered it, and I got this little teeny sprout. It was. I have a picture of the original one. Of course, it's on a snapshot, but it was in my hand. It's about 15 feet tall now. It's living in a massive, massive pot in my basement because my ceilings in my house aren't tall enough. And I got a grow light over it, and I don't know what to do with it. I've grown this thing all this time, but it can't go outside here. It's too cold. And I've been trying to find like a museum or a greenhouse somewhere that I could donate it to that would take it as, you know, a novelty thing. Because I put so much time and effort into it. I don't want to just let it die.
I mean, I hate to go back to bonsai here, but you can actually cut it down a little bit whatever the lowest branch is, cut it down to the lowest branch and let it regrow, and then you'll have a smaller plant. I mean, that's basically what bonsai is.
You know, I did. It didn't branch. It was for the longest time. Last year was the first year it sent out branches. It just got taller and taller and taller, and it has like an umbrella sort of top the way it leafs out. But now last year it got its first branch, which is pretty low. So I guess I can do that. It'll just be weird. It'll have a sideways branch instead of a upward growth. I'll have to send a picture of it. It's really, the leaves are huge. The leaves are like elephant ears. I mean, they're gigantic.
I know the fig leaves get really, really big. I went and actually started getting new kinds of figs, and I'm hoping to get one that's a little bit smaller and a little bit more manageable because I have to drag them into my basement every year. The only thing that seems to really do super good is the currants and the gooseberries, which are good to zone 2. I don't even know anybody that lives in zone 2.
Wow.
That's super cold.
Well, that would be like White Davy. If you guys follow White Davy, she's she's in Saskatchewan, and that would be.
Do you guys watch the Alaskan Worms and Gardens?
Oh yeah, sourdough. Yeah, she's going through cancer right now or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's amazing people up that north can do any gardening at all.
I think a lot of it is indoors because it's such a short season. I mean, a greenhouse, you'd still have to have it heated, because they're so far from the sun. I don't even think a conventional greenhouse would heat up.
Yeah, I've never been to Alaska.
I would love to. I mean, I've been to Canada, but no, Alaska, I would love to go. I want to take one of those Alaskan cruises. I think that'd be awesome. All right, me and Ann are cruising. You coming along, AJ?
We can have a worm cruise.
A worm cruise. That's a great idea. We'll get all the worm people on a ship.
Have a reunion with all the wormies.
Yeah, I love that idea, Ann. All right, you're going to organize that for us, Ann?
I need a new travel agent. Mine unfortunately had a stroke, and she said she doesn't have the bandwidth anymore to help me out. It's like you have a full-time job plus you have a YouTube channel. That's 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah,
that's true.
But it's hard doing the whole travel agent thing.
So tell me a little bit. Can't speak. Tell me a little bit about your husband, Ann. He doesn't really do the worms, right? Am I correct on that?
No. He usually will do some of the tech videos for me where he'll do, I've actually got something I need to put together now where he, shredded nonstop for like a half hour just to show how good the shredder is that I have.
Wow. Okay.
So he'll do videos like that, and he helped out with, I think, the tumbler outside made out of the concrete mixer. And so every once in a while he shows up in the videos, like when we made Blue.
Yeah.
He's in that video.
I love Blue. Yeah. I'm so jealous of Blue.
It's so big. You got all that room to let your worms expand and multiply there.
Yeah, it was just one of those things.
It's not deep. It's not deep, so you don't have to reach way down to get at it.
Yeah, it's only, probably as tall as a gallon of milk.
Oh, wow.
Maybe a little taller, but it's 6 feet long, so.
Right. I love watching those videos on that. It's always like, there's always something going on.
Yeah, it's a big bin. And it's like your bins, AJ, are really deep.
Yeah.
I didn't have good luck with that. I think I tried the African night crawlers that way when I first got them, thinking that because they were night crawlers, they would want something deeper.
Yeah.
Oh man, they just ran around all over my house and were like dried up worm jerky.
And see, I've gone to deep with my Africans and my Euros, and they're loving it. They're right at the bottom. They just, isn't it different? We can all have the same kind of worm, and they're all act a little different. It's like barometer, humidity, temperature, everything affects them.
And both of you ladies have the African, the worm, the what do you call those worm bag?
Urban worm bag.
Yeah, both you have those and stuff.
Anne has the little mammoth, right? That, or do you have an urban worm bag too?
I used to have an urban worm bag and I killed it.
You killed it.
Oh.
You killed her.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you just tell them that the zipper went bad and that, you know, the fabric wasn't quite right and stuff, and they'll give you a new one." I was like, "No, I abused it for real."
Oh wow.
The zipper broke, the fabric on the lid started separating, and you know, and I had been wanting to get a vermi bag anyway, because basically for the urban worm bag, you have to lay on the ground to do that, and I don't know about you guys, but I am not 20 anymore.
Yeah.
You know, my hands and knees hanging upside down trying. I mean, there are videos of me hanging upside down trying to get that urban worm bag, and oh, it's painful.
So
at least this one.
I'm sorry. So why is it hard to get out? Does it just like just moisture build up down there? Is that why it's hard?
It's physically on the ground. I mean,
where the bottom is, it's not on the ground, but it's a few inches. It's not far.
Yeah, it's not far.
Mine is maybe, I don't know, 6 inches from the ground, maybe. But you can build. I had the version 1 of the urban worm bag. I haven't done it with this one, but the version 1, I built PVC. I took PVC and built my own frame, and I made it longer. So it was, the bottom was a couple feet off the ground. I made it tall, not so high I couldn't get in the top, but the bottom was up a lot more. So, you know, it was just some PVC and some corner fittings.
Okay.
Really solved that.
So you had your worms outside, Anne, correct? And then you brought them in? Is that correct?
Yeah, I had one bin, one of the like 45-gallon totes outside to throw all of my clippings in. I had that outside, and I just happened to mention to my husband, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to take it, having them be outside. Yeah. And the next thing I know, he's dragged it into the porch, and he's like, is it going in the basement or is it going in the house? And I was like, okay, basement. Because it's got holes in the bottom. Okay. So God knows what is in that thing.
Yep.
So, and are you probably the only person in your neighborhood that has worms, Anne, or do you know anyone else that raises worms or anything?
I actually, every Earth Day, I give away a worm bin to somebody. Most people just want it for, you know, fishing.
Okay.
So yeah, I gave away a couple to people at work and a couple of people that I'm friends with. But as far as locally, no, they think I'm crazy. My next door neighbors refuse to call them worms; they call them turtles. So when turtles aren't scary, worms are scary. And so
that a turtle can bite, a worm can't. It doesn't make sense, but
I had turtles once upon a time too. You know, you have a 5-year-old boy, and sooner or later, if you're in the lake fishing, you're going to end up with a turtle somehow.
Oh yeah, I went through my turtle phase.
They're a mess. Well,
I had the land turtles and the water turtles. The water turtles were a pain to take care of.
Yeah, go ahead.
They poop a lot, is the story on that one. You have to clean the tank all the time. All the time.
Yep.
So you drink a little red wine.
Yep.
R&R. So she's from Michigan. Cool. It is crazy. We had Pat from Vermicomposting, Learn by Vermicomposting on last week, and Bart Chucken and the Garden Lady, and Lisa's here, and now you. And it's just cool how our community has grown just through our videos, you know, and we all have worms. We all do things different, and you know, we're successful with how our methods work.
It is strange.
And the thing I like about you, Anne, you have your bins are a lot larger than mine, and you're able to do like the pineapples and a lot of citrus and all that stuff, you know. So thanks for doing those videos.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and that's what I always try and make sure people know that, you know, you shouldn't really do a lot of citrus or things like pineapple if you have a small bin, because they can't get away from it. But when you've got so much real estate with a 55-gallon bin, whether it's the whole thing or a half,
Mhm.
you can put it in one corner and the worms can stay away from it. And that's what the important part is like you can feed them anything you want to, so long as they can get away from it if it starts
Right.
doing something that's dangerous to them.
So on average, okay, I'll call it Big Blue. Is that what you call it? Okay. How long does it take you to harvest that on average?
It doesn't, because it's a wedge method, you don't harvest it all at once.
Okay.
Basically, I'm taking out maybe, 2 or 3 gallons at a time.
Okay.
And, the sifting part, I'll do a lot of that on like Fast Forward.
Yeah.
It takes me a couple hours.
I hear you. And how do you store them? Do you keep them in like a closed container, or what do you?
Yeah, they're in a cat litter bucket, or they're in another tote with a lid on it that I will keep food in there to make sure if there's any cocoons that hatch.
Mhm.
Then basically the little babies have something to congregate around so that I can pick them out.
What I'm going to do this time when I plant my my seeds, I'm just using straight worm castings. I'm just going to plant it in there, like in my half eggshells or whatever, because I noticed that with with vermicompost, the castings, that plants can grow inside where there's no light and everything. How we get our sprouts, and I think that's amazing because we always thought they needed sun and all that, but no, worm castings are really amazing.
Well, they'll sprout in most things will sprout in the castings, but unless you get that light on them, they're going to get long and spindly, and you'll have very weak stems. And the first time they're outside exposed to wind, they're going to snap.
Yeah,
It's
that's
that
what somebody said.
sunlight. Excuse me?
No, I heard that same thing. They got to get some air on them.
Because
Okay.
the sun is going to let them grow slow with a good strong stalk, and without the sun, it's called stretching. They try to reach for the sun, so they grow rapidly, but it's very skinny stems, and they can't hold up. One thing that I do on my seedlings that I learned from somebody years ago mentioned it. I have a fan that blows on my seedlings continuously. So they're always getting that breeze, and it really makes the stems grow a lot thicker because they're always getting that stress, that wind that toughens them up. It made a big difference.
Yeah, the video that said that was my gardener or something, Michigan Garden. He does a lot of videos on gardening, and I saw the same thing that you said about.
Well, this was about probably 10 years ago, but no, I think you're talking about M.I. Gardner, and he does do the same thing. Yeah. Either put a fan, or once a day, just go through them and like brush the tops of them. Just, make them move back and forth, and you'll get better stems.
Okay.
But you still need that sun. You still need that, the blue and the red sun rays to get good green foliage. Otherwise, they're going to turn yellow, and you're going to have thin stems. You don't want either of that outside.
So you're going to have to educate me because I'm ignorant on this part. So what are zones? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that is.
So literally, if you just go to Google and put in what is my growing zone, there'll be a picture of probably the United States and Canada, and there's different colors. And in Illinois, we're split between 2 or 3 zones. Where I'm at is zone 5, down where, you remember back in the day, Grant McIntosh? He was all the way down at the bottom of Illinois, almost to Missouri. He was down like zone 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then, people, in Michigan or in Canada are probably zone 4 or smaller. And then
AJ, a zone is something the USDA came up with. It's a system for commercial growers to label plants, both annuals and perennials, to know if it will grow based on the weather you have. So every zone has a temperature range. Like where I live, it's from -10 to 90 on average temperature. Zone 5B, zone 6A, it's 0 degrees to 90, or zone 7 is it doesn't get freezing. So the country is broken into growing zones, and it's a universal language amongst any growers that are providing, say, to Lowe's or Home Depot or a nursery. that tag will say hardy down to zone whatever, and that means it will grow in your area. When you know your zone, you know to look for plant labels or seed packets that say
Oh,
they're hardy to your zone.
I got what you're saying. Okay, so on the back of seeds, it'll be like watermelon, grow them like June to August. Certain. Is that correct, or am I
Well,
wrong?
no, it's like it's more the cold factor. So like Connecticut, Connecticut can get down to, sub-zero. Florida might get down to 40 degrees. It's really the high end of it. It doesn't matter. It's like you don't want to have a perennial plant
Mm-hmm.
that is only hardy to zone 10 and planted in zone 5 because it'll get too cold in the winter and it will die. You don't want to put an orange tree in Canada. I mean, so it's to let you know this plant can tolerate cold temperatures down to this. And rather than saying down to 41 degrees, they break it up into growing zones, and it hasn't changed in decades, and it's a color and it's a number, and once you know it, you can look on any plant and it'll be identified that way by it's called a hardiness zone.
Okay. I know.
Does
Good.
that make sense, Ann?
Yeah. Thanks, Professor.
Yeah, I mean, so like most of my bonsais are zone 10, which would be Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they have to live in the house.
So, bonsais, you manipulate them, right? And then they just stay at that
Yeah.
form after so many tweaks.
Yeah, it's a continuous process. It's like cutting hair.
Okay.
People who are into bonsai would freak out if I said that, but it's
Uh-huh.
kind of like cutting hair. If you want it to stay in a particular style, you got to keep cutting at it month after month, year after year. It slows down quite a bit, but you got to unpot them and cut the roots and put them back in the pot. And I mean, the kind of trees that they have like in Hawaii or, like in India and stuff where they've got those big, huge roots that are, people, they're like as big as a football yard and it's one tree.
Yeah.
I have them growing in my shelf over here, and they'll never get bigger than, a Pepsi can.
That is crazy. That is crazy. I think BC is British Columbia, if I'm right. I don't know.
Yeah, there's an orchid lady I watch over there, and I can't remember what zone they're in, but it's not as cold as it is here in Illinois. Like they're not super, super cold, even though they're in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're interested, get StreamYard, get the free version. If you're, if you want to like get stuff connected on your channels as well, so we can do this, because I like this way better than keep typing on the the YouTube live stream, whatever that is. Is that what it's called? I like this method a lot better.
It is better. There's one of the YouTube guys, Nick Nimmin. You know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
Every Saturday he's got his his stream that he does, and he's got all kinds of fancy buttons to make it cool.
Yeah, he's got like nice technology, all those computers and stuff. Yeah, he's a great YouTuber. I like Nick.
What does he cover? Like, what's his area?
YouTube channel, making your YouTube channel better.
Yep. Reviews.
Oh, what's his name?
Nick Nimmin, Nimmin.
Yeah. I'll put the link up. Let me go get it real quick for you.
Yeah, I mean, he gives you a lot of help. Basically, you can fill out a form at the beginning of the live stream on Saturday, and you can ask him whatever you want to, and any questions you have. Now, they don't do like channel audits or anything like that for free, but his brother, D, I'm not sure if he goes by D Nimmin or just D. You know what I'm talking about, AJ?
Yeah, it's D.
D and Daniel Battelle.
Yeah, he's awesome too.
Yeah, they do like a game show where they'll review your channel and kind of like do a roast of you. So if you haven't got thick skin,
oh, nice. Kevin, the Epic Gardening, Kevin Esperuto, he does those roasts like the 5-minute crafts. They do all these gardening videos where they plant this and boom, it grows so fast, or they do all these hacks and he roasts them. They are hilarious. Some of the things he's like, "Oh my god," it's very funny.
Do you watch the Garden Channel? Was it James Pigioni, or I can't pronounce his last name? You know who I'm talking about? He's got to be one of the most animated YouTubers ever.
Hi,
Hey,
Mimi.
Mimi's here.
I know, Mimi, get in here.
I forgot already the name of that YouTube person. Well, who is it? And I'm gonna write it down.
I'm gonna put it on there. Hold on.
AJ's gonna pin it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tell Mimi to get in here.
Anything would be pinned. I don't know, because I'm on a phone.
Do you ever get on the computer? Or are you always on your phone?
I'm always on. I don't have a computer.
Okay, Nick Nemitz coming up. Mimi, you get in here. I'm gonna send the invite link.
Let's see.
But a lot of us that do YouTube, we only do it part-time. And so, learning how to do all this stuff is hard. Like even
I don't see anywhere there's links.
It's in the chat.
Are you on StreamYard or YouTube?
Are you StreamYard or YouTube?
It's probably on YouTube. Uh-oh. We lost her.
Yep. I don't want to open up 2 streams because it'll kind of like, with the feedback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mandy said the guy from Jersey, he is hysterical. He is so animated the way he always is moving his hands and his arms. And his little dog that runs off with his vegetables in his vegetable garden.
Mimi, I kind of know where she's at because I was stationed when I was in the Army, I was stationed in Fort Stewart. So I was in Savannah area. And I know I've seen that Valdosta, Georgia before. Yeah, Nick Nemitz is one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to how to grow on YouTube. It's great content and stuff. He's down to earth. So, Ann.
Grant, that's his name. Yeah.
Grant switched his niche more up to hunting now. He doesn't
like hunting and fishing. He's done like one video about worms in like the last 6 months. I think he's trying to get away from worms. I think he originally, just like you don't want to just be worms. You want to be, other topics as well. And sometimes you don't get to pick your niche. That picks you.
That's right.
And, trying to diversify sometimes bites you in the butt.
Exactly. That's what stinks about YouTube.
Yeah, because I've seen it happen to you. I watched you try and put different things on, and I watched them, and I was like, it's a shame you can't get a toehold the way you want to.
Exactly.
It's like the audience picks what you get to do.
Exactly.
A lot of people are like, why do you have a worm channel named Plant Obsessed? I'm like, well, didn't really start out about the worms, but here we are.
Yeah. I saw your community tab where some people still did not email you for their shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm going to read their mind. They said, just give them to AJ, if I'm correct. They
said, send it to AJ.
That's what I heard.
Well, if it gets to be March 1st and everybody doesn't say where to send the stuff, I'm just going to, assume they didn't want it. There's a couple of people that, were close. So I don't know if I should pick new numbers or go with people who would have won if the other people didn't, or have a whole brand new thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a shirt for shirt, if we have to, send you one.
That'd be cool. Get the Got Worms one. I love that.
Yeah. I'm tweaking it because on my templates it's straight, but then lately they've been off-centered. I touched base with StreamYard and said, something's wrong. I'm like, someone had one job and they're not putting them on straight. So
really,
yeah, because when I bought my first stickers, they were good, and then someone else bought one. It said AJ's Green Topics way over here and YouTube way over here, so it was definitely off-centered. So
you're using StreamShirt too, huh?
Yeah, I'll go through StreamShirt. Yeah, StreamYard.
Whatever the
StreamYard on Teespring.
Teespring. There you go.
So many dang things I'm connect.
Yeah. It's funny when you're reading something and trying to talk about it, it ends up meshing together. But yeah, but the quality of the t-shirt was not as great, like when they said that they had high quality t-shirts.
Yeah.
And so for the giveaway, I wanted to get the good ones, and they weren't as good as I wanted them to be. I mean, they're okay, but I'll tell you, my worms would eat them like that.
Oh wow.
They're
Wow. Yeah.
not real thick or anything.
I kind of get. I might have to get someone to design me a shirt. A design, and pay them for that design because I want to get something different. I want someone else to, hook me up with a shirt design.
Well, it's just like with the Plant Obsessed logo. I just went to there's this I don't know, it's like a strip mall around here, and they had a t-shirt group that they make designs for people.
Mm-hmm.
It cost a couple $100 for them to draw that, but
oh wow,
draw it and then give me the files, the digital files.
Yep. It's like the copyrights or something.
So I'm not really sure if I'd do that again, just simply because if you've seen my logo up big, like there's a community post where my husband has like the long sleeve shirt on it.
Yeah.
The big worm coming out the back looks a little obnoxious.
Okay. It's a big worm.
It's a big worm. Somebody, I can't remember, it was AV or somebody was like, "Oh, you're a big fan of Dune." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but that wasn't really the point." So I've been thinking about changing the logo a little bit. I had a meeting with Daniel Battelle. Mm-hmm. He had his Black Friday, his audits were cheaper.
Okay.
It was only $99.
Okay.
So I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'll do that for $99." And he thinks I should change my channel name.
He knows what he's talking about. He's got over 100,000 viewers.
Exactly.
So
I mean, it's what he does.
Yeah, you can't go by what they tell you. I mean, you have to listen to the professor because they've been there.
Right.
I'm
thinking, I'm still working my mind over it a little bit. I don't really know what I'm going to do.
Did he tell you the name, or do you still have to think of one?
He said something like Anne's Best Compost or something. Okay. He said that he thinks I might be niching myself down too much.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, I'm still mulling over it. I do have a full-time job.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really only get to do this kind of thing on the weekend.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do? What's your job?
I work at a packaging factory that make lids for things like yogurt.
Yeah.
So I'm the quality manager there. And so keeping an eye on everybody, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I kind of joke. I'm like, I'm a mom. I'm the mom for the factory. Pick up your shoes. Wash your hands.
Yeah. So they can wear hairnets and all that, you said.
Yeah, but it's just like a food factory. I used to work at the pumpkin factory. But this was a better deal, better hours, not seasonal. Gets to those things.
So what does your husband do then?
Oh, he's retired.
Oh, wow.
He worked at Caterpillar.
Oh, did he build cats, or was a boss, or what did he do?
Well, in the beginning was in factory building. I think he worked at a couple different ones of the factories, but he built transmissions and built the tracks. And over the years, I mean, he did 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And then after he retired, then he went into the experimental division and managed parts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a stay-at-home dog dad now.
Okay. So how young is he then? He retired pretty young, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he started at Caterpillar right out of high school. So he retired when he was 55.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yeah, he's young.
And then he unretired. But went to go work for the experimental group. So yeah.
Well, that's cool. It's great to definitely talk to you face to face, because it's always, like I tell everyone, it's always we see each other's videos, and I like this concept a lot better.
It is. It's nice. So now, how does this work when you click the stop button? Does this become a video then?
Yep, it goes straight. It uploads straight to a video, and you can go back in and edit it and make it the way you want it. Because when I first started out, this one again, it started out kind of slow because you try to get things to work right and they don't work the way you want. And then what a lot of YouTubers do, like Nick Nemeth and those guys, they will like take segments out and make more videos if they want to. You know, you can get like probably 4 videos out of a live stream if you want to. So, but yeah, I like this. It's unedited. It's just straight up Q&A and
real people. You get to see people for who they are.
Mm-hmm. The first time I saw Patrick with Learn by Vermicomposting, I says, "Oh, now I know what you look like," because I never see his face. You know, it's always.
I would have thought he was like 20 years old. His voice, he sounds like he is so young. And then you see his face and you're like, "Are those grown kids?" I would have totally thought he was like 25 years old.
Yep, I thought he was young too. Yep, he has a young person's voice. But yeah,
I think it's his enthusiasm. I think he's just got really great enthusiasm.
Yep. I told him every time he sees a worm ball, he gets so excited.
I know, right?
Like, cool. Yep. And Bart Chuckin, I saw him. I mean, I've seen him before, and you know, the garden worm lady came on, and like I said, it was just cool just to see faces. It took a while for you to show your face, you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My basement is so dark. I probably have put like $400 worth of lights in the basement just trying to make it so they can see the worms better.
Okay.
But like I'm only 5'5",
okay.
and my basement is 5'8".
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there's no room for an overhead light.
Yeah.
Because it's really not a real basement. It's like a cellar.
Okay.
And so, you know, there's not enough room for me to put an overhead light for me to actually show my face in the basement with the worms.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be hitting me in the head. But yeah, so I don't usually, you know, there's no room for me to show my face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like AV does. You know, he's got his setup where I think his camera must be close to the ceiling or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, someday I bought some contraptions to try and move my cameras around, but the amount of time that I have to mess with it is just not enough.
I hear you. And give me 1 second, okay?
Yep.
Don't leave, please. I'm going to try something real quick. Muddy thumbs up. I'm still here. So I'm just trying something real quick. Let's hope I don't get the echo. Let me see. Can you still hear me, Ann? Okay. Let me shoot the link. Yeah, the link's there. Yeah, I'm back. The link does go to YouTube, so I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm like, that's just weird.
Yeah, I had to pause the YouTube because I think it was causing me to have an echo. Like I was hearing things twice.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of hit the pause button over on YouTube and just stayed on the. Oh wait, hey Princess, Lillian's.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just seeing that Princess Lillian's Gardens.
Yeah, I want you to join because she's got garden knowledge. I need to hear some advice from her as well.
Do you know where she's at?
No, I don't. I don't know where she's from. Francis, where are you at? Where are you from? Let me put a little thing there. Excuse me for 1 second. Yeah, it's like everyone has different time zones, so it's hard to connect with people.
Yeah. I can't remember what was it when Grant and Emily used to do it. They used to do it at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I know on the East Coast it's they're an hour ahead of us, so it's like 9 there, 8 here. She's from the UK. So is it dark there right now? What
Yeah, it's
time?
supposed to
What
be.
time is it? Mimi's here. Mimi's in the house. Hi.
Hey,
Thanks for joining.
how are y'all?
Good and you. Good and you.
Good.
Yeah. I know you're an hour ahead of us, so I won't stay on that much longer. But it's good to see you.
Well, good to be here. Glad you invited me.
Yep. I missed your live stream because I was somewhere. Oh, hold on.
That's okay. Hey, I didn't catch the first part of yours. I got kind of in the middle.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it today. Am I echoing?
Nope.
Okay, something's wrong.
Are you? You're not echoing on my end.
Okay, hopefully I had the YouTube open because I went back and got a link for someone. It's 2 a.m. She's in UK and it's 2 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Don't stay up too much longer.
Keeping hours like I do
Exactly. And you said you survive a 4-hour sleep.
every
Correct.
day.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Every day.
Yeah.
I can't sleep more than 4 hours. I mean, it's like a built-in clock. I don't know why. I just seem to wake up at that time, and once my feet hit the floor, I'm up. I can't go back to bed.
I hear you. And you
Got
have
too
two.
much in my mind, too much to do.
Yeah, no, because you're a business owner and you got, like I said, you have so much you have to do to run your business.
That's right.
I admire that because there's so much you have to do to be successful.
Yeah.
So, are you tired right now? You got to be a little bit
Yeah,
tired.
I mean, I won't say I'm really tired. I'm just relaxing, sitting here. Usually in the evenings, I watch other people's videos, and I'm trying to learn this new video stuff and how to edit and how to do all that. And, there's other avenues that I want to get involved in, like blogging and stuff like that. I just don't know how to write. So, I mean, I know how to write. I just don't really know how to put it on. I don't like to do it. Let's just say that. It's not that I can't. I don't like to.
I understand that. So, do you know Anne from Planet Obsessed?
I do.
Okay, sweet.
Yep, I watched her videos before I started mine. So she gave me a lot of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're living the dream, I think all of us would like to quit our jobs and go play with,
Go play with
work
worms.
with our worms full time.
That's right. Well, I'm very, very thankful. I give God all the glory for it. I have to say that every time because that's what I truly believe.
Okay.
I've worked hard my entire life, and I've been successful in a couple of things, but it wasn't my passion, and it still felt like work. And the worms just really kind of fell in my lap. I mean, I really got into it just to grow a few worms for me and my grandson to go fishing, and it's turned into what it is. And it's just, I mean, I'm in awe. I mean, I'm really in awe of how fast it's grown. But, God just put the right people in the right places, opened the right doors. And so I'm trying to pay that forward to help other people, to do just what I do. I truly don't worry about the competition out there because I really believe there's enough of it for all of us. And it's a big growing market, and I can't supply everybody. And, it gives me a lot of gratification and satisfaction to know that I'm helping somebody else, maybe help them get to their dreams and what they want to do, and I mean, it feels really good.
Someone asked a question for you, Mimi. It says, why do you want to start blogging if you don't like it? But you don't blog, you do videos, right? Am I correct?
I think I'm probably going to stick to the videos and do more vlogging, or I don't know. I just think that, some people like to watch videos and some people like to read. So, I'd like to be able to do content that people could go back to. I don't necessarily think I want to do the writing. So it's probably
Yeah.
going to be me finding someone who can do the writing and me coming up with the content and the, you know, kind of going through it with them and then letting them write it, then me proof it and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be down the road though. I'm not focused on that right now. I'm really focused on doing the videos. I'm really looking at maybe going to the StreamYard instead of the YouTube, because YouTube's fairly easy, but every week I have a hard time with trying to get my comments to come up on the side. You know, after you post your video, half the time I can't see my comments.
Okay.
All of a sudden they'll finally pop up at some point in time, I guess. I don't know. Last week they came up immediately. Tonight I'm just not seeing them, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, StreamYard is. I'm not promoting them, you know, but I like I said, this is easy. There's a free version. Oh, okay, I'm echoing. There's a free version and a paid version, and I like this. Like I said, you can click on if someone invites you. You can talk a little bit and see their face and stuff like that.
Right.
So, question for you again, okay, Mimi?
Okay.
Someone said you're hurting your worms. Was that like in a chat comment or online?
Yeah, so we put a video up of showing how we cultivated the worms. And what it is we have a 4-wheeler with a set of cultivators behind it. Our worm bed is probably about 2 feet, maybe 3 feet deep. And I learned this from a farmer who has about 7 acres of worms, who's been doing it for about 30, 40 years. And I mean, I've watched him do it many times. Doesn't seem to be hurting the worms. We even look at our worms after the fact, make sure we're not killing our worms off. But this person just, begged the different, and that's fine. People have their opinions. It's just, I just don't like it when somebody gives an opinion who hasn't actually done it, because then it's just whatever you're thinking. It's your perception. It's not, you don't really know what you're saying. And, so that I just like for people to back up what they're saying with having at least tried it, and saying, instead of just putting it out there that, I beg to differ, you're hurting your worms, just at least have tried it, before you say it.
Yeah, you do. I don't know, AJ, if you get the comments or not, when people are just like, oh, you're doing something bad, or you're going to get poisoned because I don't wear gloves. And
right, I don't either.
And a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're going to get all sorts of, I don't know, fill in the blank.
Right.
Something wrong with you. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, I've been bare hand gardening most of my life. Where I live now has a lot of sharp pieces of glass in the soil. So I wear gloves outside, but not inside. I know what's in my worm bins. I know there's no funky diseases and stuff in there.
Right.
But some people are just super serious.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, if you're doing an experiment, people think you're going to harm your worms. And I mean, sometimes you do. Sometimes you may kill a worm or two, but it's called experimenting. You're experimenting to see what happens. That's why you don't do it with a whole bunch of worms. You do it with 1 or 2 worms, where if you have a couple of casualties, you're not killing off your whole worm bed. But if we don't do experiments, then we don't know material. So, it's sometimes people can just go to extremes with things.
I don't know. There's some people that just.
Oh, I don't know what's echoing. Yeah. Am I echoing? Am I echoing still?
Mm-hmm.
Technology. Let me look at one more thing. What about now?
I can
Am I
hear you
going?
good there.
I
I can
Am I
hear you
going?
good there.
I hear you now. I gotta change something up. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Do you have both Facebook or not Facebook, YouTube and StreamYard open?
Yeah. Hold on.
And do you only use YouTube or do you use live stream as well?
I did a little bit of live stream a year or two ago, but it just never really took off. So I just do the YouTube videos now.
I don't know why it's not. It's weird. I don't know. Yeah, I won't stay out too much longer because things are going crazy, and I know you guys, gals, need to get your rest for tomorrow and stuff. You know. Sorry, Michael.
Alrighty. Well, I will sign off.
Give Ann a muddy thumbs up.
Muddy thumbs up. Actually, clean right now. Actually, I clean nails. Got to go to work tomorrow.
If you like what you're doing, push your button with the. If you ever want to check out Plan on Success's channel, subscribe to her channel. Check out Mimi's Worms. Give her some love. And if you're interested in some worms from her, she's a great person. I just want to thank everyone that came to the live stream tonight. And everyone have a good night.
Thanks, AJ. Have a good night.
Bye.